What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Getting Buzzed. Oh, it's good to be back. I'm your host, Howard Bender. With me, of course, Ryan Hallam. It's been a minute, Hallam. Where you been? What have we been doing? What the hell's going on? Why haven't we been getting buzzed lately?
I mean, I still have been, just not here with you on Thursday nights. But lots been going on, man. We're getting close to the season. We're just 2 weeks away. I went to Canton, Ohio for the Fantasy Football Fantasy Football Expo, which was an absolute blast. Rollerblading left and right. Things that I'm keeping myself busy, and we are ready for the NFL season.
Well, I do want to get the rollerblade update. I definitely do. It's draft season. The expo must have been a great time. Give me a couple of highlights. Just throw a few highlights out there. We don't have time for everything that was great.
I could go for a long time, but just the camaraderie of getting to meet people that we spend all this time online and fight with each other and everything. It was very cool. Everyone was really cool. Just going to the Hall of Fame and like doing a fantasy draft at the Hall of Fame, and like people that were taking the tour would be walking by while you're doing it, and they're like looking in, and they're like, "Here's nerds in their natural environment." Is what I kept thinking as you're sitting around auctioning, and there was a snake draft also, and Colby did our draft, so I was just kind of hanging out. So I was sticker bitch for the draft for the one room, so I had a good time with that. Made sure I kept them nice and straight, so it wasn't a disastrous draft board. So took the job seriously. And then the second night there was a party outside, just up the street from the hotel. I may have taken a tumble on that one, missed the stair. I got a little skin knee to prove that, but it was the absolute blast, man. Absolutely going next year. Hope that we can drag you out of California and as many of the family members who can, because it was a fantastic time. Bob Lung, hell of a job, man. A+.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know what? Cheers to Bob Lung, man. He always does a great job. Everybody loves Bob. I'll take a sip. Ooh. It's going to be that kind of a show, people.
Buckle in. I can't wait.
All right. Well, so now, all right, you've given me my expo update. Now give me the rollerblade update. Come on. There's got to be a video. I got to tell you, you tell Morgan, I'm incredibly disappointed that I have not yet received a video of you just taking a massive tumble. Come on, you got skin knees, don't you?
I mean, I have the one, but it's from the expo. There was an AstroTurf at the expo where I fell and skinned my knee. I haven't fallen. I'm doing okay. I'm still not really taking any chances. I'm not taking any declines or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I nearly eat it a couple times every time, but I'm in places where there's grass not too far that I can stumble to if I need to. But I also haven't done it with the kids around either, because I don't want to, I like to think they have some sort of opinion of me. I don't want it to be torpedoed by my, just ass going face first into the concrete.
Are you doing this to like work out? Are you like, is this something to try and get you more fit? Or is this just, I missed out on this in the late 80s and I'd really like to start it again?
I mean, I'm in the fantasy football. No, I'm not. It's not. I mean, yeah, it's something to do. No. Right. That was the dumbest thing ever. That motivated 2 people for 3 days, and they sold shirts and stickers. Get the hell out of here with that shit. No, I mean, it's getting me doing something. So yes and no, but I don't have delusions that I'm all of a sudden going to have 6-pack abs from going on the rollerblades. But yeah, and I did miss out on it. I loved them when I was a kid. When I was in my late teens and 20s, I lived on them. I was on them all the time. So it's more of a bringing back the old days more than something that I missed.
Right. Well,
but I'm not nearly as good at 44 as I was at 24. Shocker.
Really?
With time, I'm hoping.
My goodness. Yeah, me at 20 versus me right now at 50. Wow. All right. Well, kudos to you for at least sticking with it. And again, I just want to see the crashes. Like, I'm the guy who like watches Daytona for the crashes. I watch, hockey for the fights. All right, so I want to watch you rollerblade, but I don't want to see you actually rollerblade.
Well, I think there's only going to be one crash, if there is a crash, and it's going to be epic, and that might be the end of it. So I'm hoping to not have that happen. I'm guessing if I go down, if I eat it, it's going to be big.
Oh, ooh, can't wait. Can't wait. All right, so how's everybody's draft season going out there? I mean, listen, fantasyalarm.com is the place to be. I know that. Ryan knows that. You guys should all know that as well. If you haven't done your draft yet and you haven't purchased the draft guide, well, you probably should, or at the least get the ultimate cheat sheet. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/draft now. Use the promo code draft now. Take 20% off the guide that comes with the guide and the cheat sheet. Or even better, go to fantasyalarm.com/getNFL. Use the promo code CRUNCH and get our everything package for the NFL. I mean, seasonal, DFS, draft guide, cheat sheet, league sync, all the tools that you could possibly need. All the fanjections, the projections that we've got, that Ryan toils on daily, all of that there. The promo code CRUNCH, again, fantasyalarm.com/getNFL. That's the lowest price right now. It's $109. Like we've been increasing it a little bit. We started at like a ridiculous price point of under $70, and the closer we get to the season, the more expensive it's going to get. So act now while you can.
And newest, Ivar Anderson's IDP projections, I believe, are live tomorrow for the season, and then week 1 should be in the next few days. So for you IDP folks, we even have you covered.
See that? Fantasy Alarm's a place to be. It's a place to be. How's your draft season going here? How's I'm sure you're doing as many drafts as I'm doing, and you're probably reacting or you're dealing with everybody who's hot take drafting. And seeing some of the crazy ADP risers and fallers right now.
Yeah, I'm about ready for the season to start. I've been drafting for 6 weeks now or so. I'm good. I would like to get to it, but yeah, I still have 3 or 4 more left. I'll be using the cheat sheet, and yeah, man, things are changing every day, and sometimes we haven't had too many like huge injuries. Okay, Akers. And of course, the one the other day, but a lot of them have just been like Wentz looks like he's coming back now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the ETN one's a big one, at least for those people who stood by James Robinson. I did an industry auction 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. James Robinson, $12. Like this, running backs were going for like 40 plus. I got it for $12, and now I feel like, oh baby.
I took him in a couple early drafts. I know he's in my fishbowl team. He was just really disrespected after the year he had last year. I know ETN was taken the first round, but people were acting like Robinson wasn't going to get any run. And now, like you said, anyone who stuck by him is about to be paid off handsomely. I believe he's a second round pick at this point.
Yeah, late second, early third, sure. That's kind of where I've seen him go. What about the Sony Michel trade? Did that do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't really. It's not like I'm off Henderson because of it. First of all, they both have health problems, so I mean, we still could be looking at Funk or Jones. So we'll see. But it takes Henderson down a little bit, but to me, it doesn't crash his value. I was having a little discussion with our friend James Grande on Twitter the other day, who I believe is more. I don't see Michel being the guy. At worst, I see a committee. The problem, I think, Michel could take some goal line carries, is he did score a good number of touchdowns in New England, but not much of a pass catcher. So I still think Henderson is going to have the majority role. But Michel does take him down a little bit, but it doesn't really just torpedo his value for me.
Yeah, it's funny. I've, some people have said, Sony Michel, and, he's going to take that lead role. I think it was Adam Schefter who, he opined. Like, that was the discussion Adam Ronis and I had on the podcast. Was Adam Schefter reporting that Sony Michel was going to be the lead back, or was Adam Schefter giving his opinion? Because, I was like, well, I didn't hear the entire interview. I just heard the soundbite. And Adam said he heard the entire interview and said it was more of an opinion than anything else. But I'm with you. I mean, listen, Sony Michel's knee is still bone on bone, right? Last we heard. Still just, zero cartilage, just grinding each other. Ay, ay, ay.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah,
it's a
right?
good injury for a running back to have.
No. All right, so you're not into it, right? You're not.
I mean,
pumping
I
him
think
up.
Michelle, if he's my fourth or fifth back, but I'm not like vaulting him up the draft. I've heard other people say, like I say, doesn't catch a pass. He's like, well, he's not that bad at it. Belichick just didn't have him do it. I'm like, you think if he had that skill set, that Bill Belichick wouldn't have found a way to exploit it? He has like 22 catches in 36 games. I think he would have been used a little more if he was good at it.
You'd like to think so. Think so. Belichick's the mad genius, though. I don't know. Right? Belichick's going to do the whole quarterback tandem this year, right?
No.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's going to use them both. See. And it's going to be more annoying. It's going to be more annoying than like the Jameis Winston Taysom Hill thing.
Well, I mean, if you have Cam Newton and you're counting on him for points, you're in trouble anyway. So I don't know. Hopefully it won't be too annoying.
No, it won't. But it's going to kill the value of Mac Jones this year because you're not going to get a guy who's going to take over as the starting quarterback, right? You're like screwed out of both.
Sure.
You're like, I don't give a shit. I'm not taking any freaking Patriots players anyway.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the Patriots offense really to begin with. So I guess I mean Harris and Jacoby Myers and the tight ends, and there's not a lot to get excited about there.
All right. Let's talk about some players people are getting excited about. We have at Fantasy Alarm the ADP TV with Justin Fensterman, but I mean, listen, there are a number of players who are just, like I said, just jumping up draft boards. I believe it was Mike Dempsey from Football Diehards who quoted Silence of the Lambs when he took Marquez Callaway in like the 10th round of a super flex. We were drafting the night on Monday night when Callaway scored his 2 touchdowns, and Dempsey was like, we covet what we see right in front of us, right? We covet what we see every day.
Yeah, and I do not covet Marquez Callaway. I don't know. I think I see a lot of people putting a lot of stock into this preseason, and teams haven't really been playing their starters very much. I think this is a case of a preseason darling that I think is going to disappoint. I mean, someone has to catch the ball. It helps that Michael Thomas is going to be out for a while, so someone really has to step up. But I still think Traquan Smith is probably the best guy of the group. Can Callaway do it? Sure. 10th round. It's a little early for me. If it's a dart at the end, fine. But like New England, I'm really not excited about the New Orleans offense either. So, I mean, it's not like he's a rookie. He's been around a little while. He's never really been able to crack much. So, with opportunity comes production sometimes, but this isn't one that I'm going chasing.
All right. Let's stick with the wide receiver position. What about the new kid in Philly, Quez Watkins? He's getting some love now that they're saying that he's going to be the new slot receiver for them, and Greg Ward is going to be more of a depth play.
No. Another preseason. No interest at all. I mean, he had the first good preseason game. I think he caught one pass in the second one. Not that really means as much, but I don't know. I mean, I think Philly's offense, I think is going to be heavily run based. Obviously, with the running quarterback and the couple of running backs that they do have, I think they're going to throw to the tight end an awful lot. I think Devonta Smith is going to be the guy to get the majority of the targets with Jalen Reagor, and we'll see if there's stuff left for Watkins. But I mean, I think we're looking at the third or fourth option on a not a great passing team. So no, he's not raised the radar for me this preseason.
But you'll take Marquez Callaway over him, right?
Yeah, I would. Yep.
Would you take Quez Watkins or Jacoby Myers?
I'll take Jacoby Myers. Yeah,
I thought you weren't interested in the Patriots offense.
I'm not overly interested in it, but I mean, he was the only thing worth watching last year, and he's okay. He's a decent receiver. I don't know that he scored a touchdown, but I don't know if the Patriots scored any touchdowns last year either. But he proved himself a little bit. He was a good target, caught a lot of passes, got a little bit of explosiveness. Again, I'm not after him as my wide receiver 3, but if I get him a little bit later than that, I'm happy with him. But I take him over Quez Watkins or Marquez Callaway.
All right. Okay. A couple of running backs who are kind of moving up and down. Let's start with the Miami backfield, Myles Gaskin. Here's a guy who still looks like he's going to get 70% of the touches. But you got Malcolm Brown, you got Salvan Ahmed. Like, I don't really know what to make of this. As far as, we're being told three-headed monster, but it's really, Brian Flores was nothing like that last year, and he had the personnel to mix and match when he wanted to, but he didn't. And he stuck with Gaskin for the most part here. Are you still interested in Gaskin?
Yeah, as my flex player, my third running back, I'm fine with him there. If he's dropping, if I can grab him there. Don't really want him as my running back too, but I feel like I'm a little bit of a stronger running back drafter than some people. Like, I've been targeting several early. Like, I don't want to do the waiver wire for running back this year, so I've been pumping running back early and often. So if I can get him as my third, I'm good. If I get him as my second, I'm not feeling so good.
Oh, then you're going to hate the next guy I ask you about, right? How about Philip Lindsay? Sorry, I'm catching bugs that are like flying at my face right now.
All in on Philip Lindsay. I've been drafting him. Yeah. I had got an argument with Rick Wolf a couple weeks ago over it. Not really an argument, but we had discussion. Like, he was on David Johnson, and I think that has gone by the wayside. David Johnson, I believe, is third on the depth chart now. But Lindsay, to me, is the best runner on the team. I don't think any of them are great, but Ingram was basically asked to take a seat last year. David Johnson hasn't broken a tackle since 2015. Lindsay can catch some passes. He's got a little explosiveness. He runs hard. He usually gets hurt trying to run hard. But I think if someone's going to do anything in this craptastic offense where they're going to be behind from forever, it's going to be Lindsay. I've drafted him probably at least 60% of the drafts I've been in.
All right. Love grabbing him like super late. All right, cool. Well, again, folks, go check it out over at fantasyalarm.com, ADP TV. Constant articles coming out. Again, we're making all of the adjustments that need to happen between now and the start of the season. So no matter when you draft, we got you fully, right? Jeez, that ultimate cheat sheet, like the last 2 days, dude. What a big pain in the ass, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when things happen, like, we have it in a half an hour. Everything's updated.
What's going to happen when I go away on vacation?
You don't go on vacation. That's not allowed.
We'll go away next week. What do you think I'm wearing this outfit for? I'm gone, man. I'm mentally checked out. I don't know
that's
who
your vacation outfit. That's what you wear every week. Scott Fishbowl shirt and a flower shirt and a Hawaiian shirt. That's what you wear every week.
Well, all right. College football starts this weekend. Are you excited?
I'm excited the fact that we launched projections on Fantasy Alarm this week. So for those of you DFS folks that play college football, go to collegefootball.com, fantasyalarm.com, dfsalarm.com for the projections there. Don't go to collegefootball.com. That won't do us any good. So those of you who play DFS there, we have all set for this Saturday's 5-game slate, and we'll have all Division I projections for every week throughout the season.
Well, in honor of college football starting up this week, in honor of the NFL season just 2 weeks away, and again, I'll be away next week, so there won't be an episode of Getting Buzzed. But in honor of these everything starting up and how excited we are for all of this, it's all about tailgating. And what's better when you're sitting at tailgating than just shoving a whole mess of wings in your mouth, right?
Nothing.
So, yeah, you're a big wing guy.
I was making them as I suggested this as a topic, actually.
There it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the Getting Buzzed Top 10. All right, Top 10. Here we go. What is it? Top 10 chicken wing flavors. What else would it be? So, Ryan, listen, I'm going to let you lead the way here because, listen, obviously, I haven't met a chicken wing I don't like. All right. Now, I don't really dig into the spicy, very delicate constitution. I get the rumbly bumblies, very sensitive, but billions of flavors. Let's talk about them.
You don't like the blast your ass out hot sauces?
No. You notice that didn't make our top 10.
Yes, I figured it would. I'm with you. I can go to a certain point, and then like if my lips start to tingle and my nose starts to run, that's not enjoyable eating for me anymore. So that's I need to just a step behind. But let's go right off the bat because they've gone crazy. Like there used to be 4, now there's 50 wing flavors. So Korean barbecue is the first one. You get the nice barbecue, a little spicy, not too bad, nice and sweet. Excellent wing sauce.
Do you have to cook it yourself though? Korean barbecue, like that's always been my big hang up with going. I mean, I know we're just talking wing flavors here, but when you go out for Korean barbecue and they put that like fire and stuff in front, like, I don't want to cook my own meal. That's why I'm out at a restaurant.
I'm completely with you. I don't understand that at all. I mean, I get the hibachi where they're cooking it in front of you, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to cook my own. But this is again, yeah, this is definitely wings that it's being served to us.
All right, I'll shut up then. What's number 9?
Number 9 is honey mustard. It's it's a little tangy. I like, I'm not really a big mustard fan, but somehow I got to where I can do honey mustard. So it's a nice combo to go with the chicken. So honey mustard, not my favorite, but a very solid number 9.
Honey mustard for me is not a chicken wing flavor. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was on your list, not mine.
Okay.
To me, honey mustard is a dipping sauce for chicken fingers. Yeah, I'm in. But as you know,
so
like for my wing, nah.
So it's the mustard and the bone that throws you off? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When I have like that flavor, I just expect like the chicken to be breaded heavily and you dip it in. Yeah, I mean, it's just I've been to McDonald's way too many times.
That might be possible. Well, if it's not your favorite, let's move on to number 8, Parmesan garlic. This is not really the sauce so much. It's just the chunks of garlic and the Parmesan. It's more of a dry than a sauce here, but this is just flavor galore between the Parmesan cheese and the just chunks of garlic, which to me, you can never have enough garlic.
I'm all in on the garlic, and I love the fact that my wife hates garlic. So,
God, I've never met anybody that didn't like garlic.
She is not a garlic person. She doesn't like it when I eat garlic. So, there'll be select days where I'll order something with garlic in it, maybe pick a fight with her, and she'll just go off in the other room, watch TV.
It's good to know that you can start a fight so easily with just garlic. Is she a vampire? This is throwing me off.
She might think she is.
Okay.
Number
7, Thai chili, this has become kind of a popular flavor in the past few years, and I'm all about it. Sometimes it's like Asian zing at like Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever, but it's very, very sweet with a little bit of kick. Got the red pepper flakes in there a little bit. So this is one that I've really come to enjoy in recent past.
Yeah, I'm big. I like the Thai chili. Again, I don't like the incredibly spicy, but I like the tanginess that comes with that. In there as well. So that's number 7. Number 6, just your basic old hot wings, baby. Right?
Nothing wrong with classics. You got to go with the classics.
Nothing wrong with the classics. And then number 5 is my personal favorite. Thank you. Medium buffalo. That's it. I don't need it. Okay, we've seen the show, right? Like that show where they like eat spicy wings and
that's funny.
Like, and they're like sweating profusely and stuff like that. I don't understand. I don't understand what the need is for that kind of spice. Like, what are you, I mean, it's kind of like like a small penis syndrome kind of thing. Like it's got to be this super crazy hot or, whatever. I don't know. Are you like working in a silver mine your entire life so you can't taste anything? So you got to go with the super hot? I don't know. Explain that to me.
I can't. Like I told you a minute ago, like once my body starts to have a physiological reaction to what I'm eating, then that's no longer enjoyable. But I do. My owner's got my store's got some buffalo sauce. I throw some ranch in there, a little bit of butter, and some garlic powder in there. Mix that all up. That's my sauce that I make pretty much almost every week here, and I'd call that medium.
Good. All right, I like it. I'm coming over to the Hallam house. Get me some wings
every Wednesday.
You do the air fryer?
I do the air fryer. It's the best. Yes, it was about a half an hour. You flip them a couple times or jangle them up in there a little bit. But yeah, they come out crispy. They come out perfect.
All right. What's number 4?
Number 4 is teriyaki, another sweet one. No spice here at all. This is kind of like Thai chili, what you get at like a hibachi place, or it's just a nice, easy, sweet, delicious wing.
Yeah, listen, big teriyaki fan. Big teriyaki fan. So can't argue against that. Number 3, Caribbean jerk. No, I was introducing you. Can you?
Oh, yes. Oh.
It was too easy.
I was going to do a Caribbean accent, and then I'm like, is that offensive? I don't know. So anyway.
Don't do the accent, please. Please, right? You're going to Jack Morris yourself right here, dude. You're going to Jack Morris yourself. Dude, the cancel culture is out in droves right now.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything bad. It was just Caribbean.
Behave yourself.
Okay. Number 2.
Moving along.
Mango habanero for number 2. You get a little sweet, a lot of spice. This probably isn't really up your alley, given what we've talked about. But it's a nice. It's not quite where it's gonna make your eyes water. But it's you get a little of the passion fruits along with some nice spice. So mango habanero is number 2.
Love that. Well, for you, not for me, but for you. Number 1 is what I love the most.
That's right.
Come on. Number 1, give it up for the man who tried to burst the bubble of the NBA. What is our number 1 flavor here, Ryan?
This is all you, man.
Really? You're going to give me you got to go to Magic City Gentlemen's Club down in Atlanta and get yourself some Lou Williams lemon pepper wings. Now, I've had lemon pepper wings before. Very delicious. I hear, well, at least from Lou himself, that Magic City, their kitchen is the best. It's the best restaurant he's ever been to. I know, right? As somebody who has trolled the buffet at a number of strip clubs in his earlier years, there is not a single time where I've said, well, this is the best dinner I've ever had. Like, who's eating like a surf and turf, because it's on the menu. Who's eating that while they're at a strip club?
I've never even seen a menu at a strip club, I'm happy to say. Like, the food has never entered my mind when I've been inside a strip club.
No, it really doesn't either. Well, if you like the breakfast buffet in the morning, you and your boys, you're like hungover, and you're like, where can I get a cheap breakfast? Oh yeah. Let's go to Little Dolls around the corner on.
Is it like the D team of women working in the morning buffet?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what though? It's actually the funny thing is I did it enough. The conversation is so much better. Like, it really is. You'll learn a lot.
And you only looked at Playboy for the articles, right?
No. I didn't even know there were articles in Playboy.
Didn't they go to like just articles? Like they took pictures out because of the internet and you could just look at pictures whenever you want? Or is it just completely dead now? I honestly have lost track.
I have no idea. I can't remember the last time I looked at a magazine rack. Like once fantasy companies stopped going with the with magazines, like there's no reason for me to go to a magazine rack. So I have no idea. No clue.
Someone on Twitter tell us, is Playboy still a thing? Is it not? Is it just online? Do you read the articles?
Do you read the articles? I don't care. So there you go, guys. That's our top 10 list. Top 10 chicken wing flavors: Korean barbecue, honey mustard, Parmesan garlic, Thai chili, hot, medium buffalo, teriyaki, Caribbean jerk, mango habanero, and then a little lemon pepper. I'm going to give a quick shout out here to our producer, John Impemba, who was literally beside himself. I saw it. We were like Skyping, and there was like an out of body experience, and he's like sitting there, just John, and then the spirit of John next to him being like, where the hell is the ranch dry rub? How come there's no ranch dry rub over here? And it didn't even occur to me. Ranch dry rub, yes or no?
I'm not much of a dry rub. Like Parmesan garlic is as dry as I get. Nobody wants a dry rub. That hurts sometimes.
Okay. Once again, Ryan Hallam, everybody. You can harass him at Fighting Chance on the old Twitter machine.
Bring it.
Please just berate him. All right. So now that we're done with the top 10, I'll tell you what. Let's find out. Our guest tonight. Wow, I didn't even say who it was in the beginning, right? Ooh, like it's like this has been a surprise. You guys are like, ooh, who's the guest?
Guest?
Who's the
What?
guest tonight? Who's the guest tonight? Ryan, who is the guest tonight?
The guest tonight is Samantha Holt from Dr.Roto and from the Fantasy Debate with Sam and Tate podcast. One of my favorites, someone I've been friends with online for a long time. Great football mind, really funny, just a really down-to-earth, cool person, and I'm really excited to bring her on the show.
All right. Well, then without further ado, let's do just that. You can find her on Twitter at Samantha R. Holt. You can find her right now here on Getting Buzz. Samantha Holt, everybody. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Appreciate you being here. We've been off on Getting Buzz for a little bit, so nice to be back and nice to bring it here with you. How are you tonight?
I'm doing very well, and just very excited to sit down and chat with you guys. You know, it's been a minute, but I always appreciate you guys having me.
It's definitely great to be here with you. Lots of stuff going on in your world right now. I mean, let's face it, aside from hosting the podcast that you host, brand new gig, sitting over at drroto.com, because I love Dr. Roto. I've known him for years. Was super excited to see him, back in action again. Obviously, I don't know if anybody knows, but Dr. Roto had a big kidney transplant, and he was out for a while, and now he's back and he's good to go. So fantastic there. How'd that develop there? How'd you meet Dr. Roto?
Was very lucky to, first of all, Doc is a fantastic guy. I think everyone that knows and has interacted with him has had an amazing experience. He's just such a genuine, amazing person. And I was lucky enough to get introduced to him through a mutual friend, and he was looking to grow his new network. And so he reached out and asked if I would be a part of it. And I was super excited to get the call. And it was just one of those things where, how quick can I say yes without sounding too ridiculous and interrupting someone in the middle of a sentence? So I jumped at the opportunity. And it was just, it's been a lot of fun. It's a huge, huge, amazing group of analysts that he's put together. So to be a part of that many people that are so talented, and just to know that they're going to make me better, and I'm going to be able to learn so much from them, as well as getting to, build these relationships, is really exciting.
Well, this is a great step for you, but the one thing we like to ask pretty much everyone that comes on is, how did you get started in this crazy world of fantasy football to where you are now?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it feels like kind of a blur now, just because I get that question a lot, and I love it because it makes me try to remember back to when I first started doing all of this, because it's been such a whirlwind, and I feel like I just haven't stopped hustling, which is, part of the name of the game. But a couple years ago, I want to say about 6 years ago, I started writing. Someone reached out on Twitter, and I'd been very active on the Fantasy Life app that Matthew Berry has, and they reached out through me through that and said, hey, would you like to write for my website? And so a couple different sites had reached out to me to do some writing for different things, flex articles, sleepers, preseason, just lots of little things. And then after a while, I started writing more consistently with the Fantasy Authority. And then I jumped onto a couple of their podcasts just to talk about some of my articles. And then it was kind of like, once I started podcasting, it just snowballed. And I look back and I'm like, I don't even know how many podcasts I've recorded, let alone in the last year. But just it's a constant roll, and it's been super fun, and an outlet I did not anticipate taking or having it become, let alone a hobby, but more of like a side hustle career that I've really, pursued. And it's just been a lot of fun. I feel like every year I learn something new, and every week I really learn something new in it, but it's very challenging, and I just really love the entire aspect. The community is super great, and they've been very welcoming of me, which I really appreciate, because, it's difficult to break in there as a female lady, trying to speak your mind on the sports things. So it's definitely super fun to have that opportunity and have people like you reach out and say, hey, do you want to be on our podcast? It always gets me every time.
I mean, you've been on my old podcast with Steve Rappin several times. You're always one of our favorite guests. You're just so smooth on the microphone. You were like born to podcast. Always had such a good time with you on that show. I was super excited to have you on this. So just to give you another outlet to get out there and just show everybody what you can do.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, again, I just, it's one of those things where I really never thought I would podcast. My background is in graphic design, so I'm used to being behind a computer but not talking behind it. So it's very, very different to what I'm used to. But, when you're passionate about something, I don't want to say it's easy to talk about, but it's fun and you enjoy talking about it. And my passion for football has just grown and grown over the years. So it's just something that, I just can't stop talking about it. Like, if anything, I just can't shut up.
I get that too. I do that all the time. I just, so they gave me a radio show for it. I was like, okay, great, super. Yeah. You know what? I mean, I want to ask you about the women in this industry and really what's, listen, we've seen a lot of shit go down recently, and there's been, a lot of drama. Now you seem to do a really great job of staying out of the drama of fantasy football Twitter. So I applaud you for that. But yeah, we see, the situation now. There's, Jen Piacenti, Brandon Marianne Lee used to work over at Fantasy Alarm, and she's over at the Athletic. We see the Majuk ladies. They're in on a bunch of stuff. They've been in some Sirius XM leagues. So, I mean, there is, it's definitely going, it's definitely trending where we're seeing more and more in the space. But I mean, really speak out against the negativity here. It's really, how do you deal with it?
I feel like, how do you deal with any types of negative comments growing up in life? Even though we're all adults and we would hope that people can set aside personal bias and, oh, you seem to pay a lot of attention to sports. Maybe I'll listen to your opinion. I think it's something that you're never going to be away from. So rather than let something that someone says blasting out a tweet while they're probably sitting on the toilet, literally, why would I give that more time of day than anything else? In my life, there's far more things for me to be worried about or be concerned about than someone that doesn't like a take of mine on Twitter or thinks, as I'm a female, I shouldn't have an opinion on sports. It's like, oh, that's nice for you. Must be nice living in a cave. I kind of just move on and just stay focused on what I'm doing. And I try not to let any negativity really sway me or pull me off course. Because when you feed into that and when you react to that, to me, it's just inviting that person to spit more negativity at you. Any kind of, communication you give them back is going to be interpreted differently than how it should. So if I give you some sort of negative feedback, which I have done in the past, and, when I can be quick enough and quick-witted enough to give a good take back, I will. But once you respond, they don't read what you respond. They just see that you responded. So oh, I was able to get under her skin. This is awesome. I can do it again. It's no. I'm not going to allow you to have the time of day or the time in my life to even be worth a tweet. It's just not worth my time.
So, Samantha, let's get away from the drama of Twitter. But another thing that people talk about a lot on Twitter is how great live drafts are. Everyone loves to get together, drinking beers, eating food. Our top 10 list was chicken wing flavors, everything. So getting together as a group, there's not too much better that you can do besides drafting fantasy football with a group. You have a league which I'm in awe of every year. Not only does the league stay together, and at least from pictures, it seems to be the same people, but you guys, it's like the show The League. You guys travel somewhere as a group every year and make what looks like an awesome weekend out of your fantasy football draft. And if I remember correctly, from I believe you won a couple years ago, the winner chooses the location. So yes. Tell me, how do you even manage that, first of all? Because people can't even get their friends in their hometown together. How this group just holds this together, where have you been, and just this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
The destination draft has been probably, it's definitely one of the highlights of being in this league, this group of friends. It's something we all committed to when we decided to do it after the first destination draft we did in Vegas, because of course we do watch the show The League like crazy, and we're like, we have to do a draft in Vegas. Why wouldn't we? But after that, it was all right, whoever wins gets to pick where we go, and we're all going to go. And though some years we get, we've been close to having the full league, there's a lot of years when it's, it's about half. And that's still something that we work really hard to make sure everyone can go. And, we'll all talk as a group, make sure that we didn't go too nuts that year in terms of cost and expense for everyone. But I think it just has to do with this particular group of people. Like, we're just that obsessed with being ridiculous about football. Like, not only do we have a dynasty league, but we add rules every single year to complicate the matter just because we love it so much. So we are now a super flex keeper league. We keep 13 players, wow. 10 standard keepers, 3 rookie contract keepers because it's a salary league. Every year we have a rookie draft. It's a full IDP league now, which I think to the fullest extent it is a full IDP league. There's 6 IDP slots across the roster, and it's half point PPR just to be different than a single point PPR. I'm not quite sure why we still haven't gone full point, but that's probably going to change next year. Every year we just keep adding new levels, and it is so much fun. When you have people that are that, as we all are, insane about fantasy football and that passionate, adding more levels to the puzzle just makes it more fun.
So best place that you guys drafted. Let's hear some of the top destinations.
So I'll go in order of where we went, and then I'll let you guys decide which was probably the most crazy or most fun. So the first year we did Vegas. We did the private room at the Legacy Sports Bar in where was it? The Palazzo in Vegas. And that was awesome because it was obviously a huge private room. We were just ordering food like crazy, and it was awesome. Next year we did a rooftop by the pool cabana in San Diego. That was on top of like a skyscraper. It was a lot of fun. And then the following year we did Scottsdale, Arizona, and we drafted at a Topgolf. Then we did the Bahama Draft. So we went on a cruise to the Bahamas, and we managed to get one of those private like conference rooms to draft in that looked like a proper business room attire deal. And we're all just in different corners creating our little nests where we draft, where I've got my chairs around me. Don't look at my screen. It was definitely a conference room for like 40 or 50 people. And it was just 10 of us drafting. It was fantastic. Then we did Seattle, and we went and drafted at a pub there up in Seattle. That was also a really good one. And then last year, obviously, was the COVID draft. So we did a distanced draft in my backyard. Probably not the craziest one. But this year, we went to Paso Robles in wine country in Northern California, Middle California, actually. And we drafted at one of our Airbnb houses. That was a huge house. And we went wine tasting with a party bus after we finished the draft.
I mean, the wine country sounds good, but I can't go away from Bahamas.
Yeah, I was gonna say a Bahamian cruise.
Yeah, it was the cruise. It was the Bahama Mama cruise, and most of these.
How awesome is that? 6 or 7 years of traveling as a group to draft. Like, what's better than that?
I don't know what is. I mean, when you get to travel with your friends that you're really close with, and you have this type of camaraderie that's really like a family. We really just call each other our football family, because it's like being with my brothers, my extended family of brothers on this trip. The shenanigans are crazy. There's never drama, which is fantastic and not something you can say about every group of friends, but it's just so consistently fun and ridiculous. And there's always one guy that decides to go crazy and, wear a weird outfit to the draft or just pull a prank on everyone. There's multiple years where obviously the commissioner gets iced every single time, and he hates it every time, but it's always super fun.
And how many times have you won the league?
So I won, not this past season, but the year before. So I only won this league once. This league is probably the one that I overthink the most when it comes to my personal strategies. So every other league that I'm in, I always have far more success than I do in this league because of, I think, is probably the trash talk amongst each other. And it's just like, why would you take that person off the waiver wire? It's like, well, because he's going to go off this week. Are you sure? And then it's just, our chats are always ridiculous. So I definitely overthink this league the most. And I probably break my own personal rules the most in this league because I overthink it.
Are these people who are any of these people in the industry at all? Or is this just, friends from home?
These are all just friends from college and friends through friends of friends from college. And thankfully, it's kind of been one of those things where every year we've added someone. It's been the same group for the last, I want to say 3-4 years. Every time we've added someone, they just kind of have fit right in like a missing puzzle piece. And it's just, how have we not been friends since, elementary school? Like, we're just that close, which is super great.
Yeah, I'm telling you, industry leagues are so overrated. Like, listen, I've been in this industry for 20 years, right? I've done the Huddle League, which used to be like the old KFFL, which was like a spinoff from USA Today. And I've been drafting with those guys for 12 years. Like when I was working back at RotoWire, Jeff Erickson actually passed this league down to me, and I've stayed with it the entire time. But like, it's fun, it's great, and talking to like all the old school heads and stuff like that. But the league that I love the most is my Jam on Fantasy Football League, which is like, yeah, there's like, it's me and Steve Gardner from this, but there's like sports guys who are fish heads, and then there are like jam band music guys who are in this whole thing. And that's like to me, that's the league that I do what you do. I overthink it way too much because I'm like, the pressure of being the industry guy, but
Sure.
because I'm also trying to screw a lot of these guys over with my picks.
No, absolutely. And they make fun of me now because I'm the one that's doing all of this on the side. And they're like, well, clearly Sam knows all the sleepers. Sam, who's going to be the number one? I'm like, you should just listen to a podcast, then I don't have to tell you. But like this year, a bunch of them were like, so I started listening to your podcast this week. I'm like, oh, really? This week? Thank you. I appreciate you starting to listen to it this week in preparation for this draft. And because we have so many keepers, none of the rules that we talk about in most podcasts apply because the keepers are so deep and the contracts per player are so deep. So you can have a player for, anywhere between a 3 to 5 year contract under a certain amount. So it's not like, oh, well, should I keep Christian McCaffrey? Like, of course you're going to keep him. You're going to keep him until the contract runs out. And then we have contract extensions, which you can put on. We just added franchise tags to players. So it's just this whole mess of craziness that when you do go to the draft and you're in the salary and you're in the draft room and it's an auction draft, so you're bidding on players, the highest bidded player is someone that someone couldn't keep. So running backs go for way higher than they normally would at their value. So like Chris Carson went for like over $100 because he was the best running back available in this draft. I got Melvin Gordon for like, I want to say like $32, maybe $40, and that was still more than I would normally pay for him. But because running backs are so scarce in that league, you pay a high premium. So that also adds another level of how you value people, because once the draft happens, everything's out the window if one guy has a need. And, you got two people going back and forth, up a dollar, up a dollar, up a dollar.
So before we get to our game, I want to just bring up one thing, and it leads to the background of where you're sitting tonight, is I know that you have put this studio together yourself, and another thing, since I have been following you for a very long time, is your ability your home improvement ability is fantastic.
Thank you.
The hundreds of projects that you've put online, including that, I know is just fantastic. It is just, hey, I just know I can do this myself. I want to do it myself. Because I am the least handy person.
No, you are not.
Okay, I'm the second
my
least
friend,
handy person
and
on the face
least
of the earth.
handy person in the world. And not a day goes by where I don't apologize to my wife to say, I'm sorry, I can't fix that. I don't know.
It's funny. I get the reputation with my friends a lot where I'm not like the mom that overlooks the group and makes sure everyone's okay. I'm the dad. So that's kind of the joke that I have with my friends, just in terms of, oh, well, Sam probably has that power tool. Yes, I do have that power tool. Sam probably can do that. Yes, I can do that. The only thing I don't do is electrical, because my dad warned me not to do electrical because that's the one thing that could probably kill you. So I don't do that by myself. But everything else I pretty much know how to do. And I think if anything, it just comes from a stubbornness and I'm just such a perfectionist. It's like, well, if that doesn't look like how I want to do it, I'm going to beat my brains in until I make it look exactly the way I want it to look. And I'm going to go and spend all the money on the tools and the supplies and get it to look the way I want it to look. So I think it just comes from stubbornness. I think I appreciate that you guys see it as a skill, but for me, I drive myself crazy with wanting to do all the projects that I have around my house.
My mother is the same way, honestly. Like I go to Home Depot to buy my mother stuff for her birthday or
Nice.
Mother's Day, and my dad learned sport. It was the sports influence in my life. So you see who I paid attention to as I'm sitting here doing this, and I need to call somebody to probably fix a toilet that I could probably fix in 2 seconds if I knew what I was doing. So
YouTube, you can learn everything on YouTube. I fixed my shower that was like spewing water, and I was like, oh no. Any plumber would have charged me over like hundreds of dollars. There was a part $7 at Home Depot, and I just fixed it myself with YouTube.
So right now my pressure washer won't start. I mean, can you help me out there? Like, what am I? It just
won't start.
Yeah, it won't start.
Did you turn it off and turn it back on?
Yes.
Did you check the that's like the go-to that I have as someone that's also does so much stuff on the computer is like you have to do all of the troubleshooting that you wouldn't normally want to do. Try all the power outlets, check everything, check all the switches are on, unplug, replug back in. I mean, I'm sure that pressure washer company even has its own YouTube of like a troubleshooting error that you can pull up. So
I appreciate it.
See, you can teach Ryan, however, but it sounded from all your destinations, with the exception of the Bahamas cruise, sounds like you're on the West Coast here. So
yes, I am.
Great. I'm up in Half Moon Bay. All right. I mean, had I known you were in Paso Robles, I would have told you. I got some shelving that needs to go up over here. All right. I'd like to fix one of the wall sockets over there. You don't have to do the electrical, just kind of it needs a little drywall around it.
Drywall's easy.
See?
I haven't even done drywall.
You're hired. Please. All right. Well, as Ryan alluded, we play a game with all of our guests, and we try to skew it a little bit towards some of their likes and stuff. So in honor of you being the handy woman, the do-it-yourself gal, well, tonight's game is called Solid Foundation or Tear It Down.
Okay.
All right, we're going to give you a couple of topics, all football related and
Love
fantasy football related. But you got to tell me, you want to build a solid foundation on this or tear it down and start over?
Okay.
Start off nice and easy with take a top tight end early in your draft.
I mean, that's something that, based on how I've done so many mock drafts this year already, that's something I'd like to tear down just because. And when you say early, how early do you mean is early? Do you mean first, second, third round?
Top 5 rounds.
Top 5 rounds. Okay. So looking at that, then I would say I would tear it down. There's a lot of value that you can get depending on your league structure when you wait at the tight end position. And I think that there's a lot to say about just these later round tight ends you can grab. I mean, TJ Hawkinson's someone that I don't see going past the 5th round. So if you wait after 5, I don't think you're going to get him. But there's still so much good value out there that I think it's worth waiting, especially when you look at how ridiculous the running back position is. We've already lost 2 running backs so far. Knock on wood, no more. Go away from us. But that's a position I would much rather shore up early with studs than anything else. And I'd rather circulate in different tight ends just depending on how the league falls. I mean, Noah Fant you can get in the 9th, and that's, I think, a fantastic value and someone who's going to have a safe floor, especially with Teddy Bridgewater, who I absolutely love. And I'd rather put myself in that position and then be able to shore up the other skill positions. I'd like having that peace of mind going into my draft.
I'm with you. I've been waiting on tight end. I don't think I've had Kelsey, Waller, or Kittle in any draft this year. I've been waiting and just, multiple tapping the later guys, hoping someone pops off. So I'm with you there. Another thing that we've been just beating people over the heads with forever in the industry is waiting on quarterback. I feel like it's starting to change a little bit, with Mahomes and Lamar Jackson's running ability and Josh Allen breaking out last year. We're seeing them start to slip into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. So are you still someone who's waiting on quarterback, or are you starting to grab some of these earlier round guys?
That's kind of where waiting on the tight end kind of helps, because in those first 4 rounds, if someone, falls to the 3rd or 4th round, like depending on your league, if it's not a 2 quarterback league, you might be able to grab Josh Allen in the 3rd. Just depends on how your league is. And I say that with every grain of salt, because any home league that's not with a bunch of analysts, you're going to have someone that's going to go get their guy. So it's going to skew your ADP right off the bat. But I think that you can get a Dak Prescott in the 5th. You can get him in the 4th. You can get these quarterbacks that are going to have the good, a little bit of the legs, going to give you a little bit of the rushing, but you're not going to have to wait super late. I still think waiting is fine. I love Matt Stafford super late in drafts. I think there's a lot of value in waiting for someone that's just going to be hucking the ball all over the field. So to me, I can see value in both. It just depends on what you're aiming for. And when that round comes around, not being shy to get your guy. So if you're waiting for Matt Stafford to fall and you're sitting there in the 6th and you're like, okay, well, someone just took a quarterback. I'm worried about a run here. Someone else goes and you see his name kind of popping up the ticker. Don't be shy to take him earlier than you think you should just because you're hoping he falls later. If you have a strategy, I would stick to your strategy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get a little personal with this next one here, Sam.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Are you sure?
Now you're making me doubt it.
That's okay.
All right, let's go.
Here you go. Solid foundation or tear it down. Matt Canada's new offense in Pittsburgh.
I think, you know what? It's a solid foundation because I know it's different, but I have all my trust. In Tomlin, we trust in all decision making. That's my life philosophy. Apply it to everything. In Tomlin, I trust all. So I'm not worried about it. What I'm excited about most in seeing the preseason games that I have, and I know every preseason game, you cannot put too much weight in, but I love how they're already trying to work Najee Harris into every little thing. And I just love seeing him tear up the field. So I'm excited. I'm allowing it. Let's let it go. I'm good.
All right, solid foundation or tear it down. This is one that tears apart the fantasy industry. Zero RB. Where do you stand on that? Solid foundation or tear it down?
Tear it down. I can't. I've done mock drafts where I've tried, and every time I wait to the even the 3rd, I just want to throw up. I can't do it. Like emotionally, physically, I'm just not there. I've heard the arguments, and I get it. I've seen the teams that you can build going 0 running back. I get it. But as someone that's had so many running backs, get hurt from all across, all rounds of ADP, you do not want to be missing out on someone that's getting that volume that early at the running back 1 position. For me, I just can't. I can't do it. Can't do it. It's just can't do it.
I'm 100% with you. And the depth at wide receiver this year just seems to be
insane.
More than before. There's just we were talking earlier about Myles Gaskin and Philip Lindsay. I'm like, hey, Myles Gaskin, if he's my 3rd, I'm good. If he's my 2nd, even with Myles Gaskin, I don't feel that comfortable. I've been not zero RB. I've been robust RB all 2021. I've been grabbing them very early.
Yeah, and a lot of my mocks that I've done robust RB at, I've ended up with, depending on where I took them, like the stack of Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson. I've gone really deep and gone running back. I've gone Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins. These are just, secure guys, number 1s in their positions on run-heavy offenses or teams that are going to have a steady volume at the position. I can't say no to that.
Yeah, and it sucks, if you're going to sit there and say, well, I got to pass up on a DK Metcalf or I got to pass up on an A.J. Brown. I mean, but, listen, I think we've all been there, right, where you end up losing these running backs, and I'm the same way. All right, I've been having my own little battles with the fantasy football Twitterverse.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw this over to you. Solid foundation or tear it down? Nick Chubb, 1st round, even in a PPR. Be very careful.
I feel like we're about to be enemies or friends, and I'm very scared of this because I do like to leave podcasts in as much of a positive light as I can.
Well, there are more questions.
If this is 12 team, I'm okay with him going in the 1st round, but I wouldn't take him sooner than the 9th. Does that upset?
Howard is Nick Chubb like top 3 overall.
I've got, the vein is doing okay in my tempo right now.
I said round 1. I'm okay.
Yeah. Just round 1. Tell me why. I'd like to hear.
I think just based on the floor that I see with the other running backs, just in the top 4 even, I just love the potential that I see there in them for a consistent floor than I do with Nick Chubb. And I think Nick Chubb has a great volume. I'm not knocking the volume. I do think 1st round makes sense for him, but I think, the Browns were getting the ball rolling, pun intended, I suppose, last season with their offense and getting different people mixed into the schemes. We were seeing, the offense shift to being a little bit more pass heavy in different ways. I know I lost my championship in that one because Nick Chubb had too many catches, and I was very upset by that. But Kareem Hunt is still getting a lot of looks as well. So I think it's just a lot of mouths to feed. Not that the volume isn't there, but I like the idea of the offense running through Derrick Henry. The offense is running through Dalvin Cook. It is running through these guys. They are the artery of that team, and I just like that volume more.
Well, I'll accept it. I'll accept that answer. Listen, I didn't bring you on here to debate it. This was more like, I just try to glean other people's opinions on it. I just
No, and that's what the people want to hear too when they're going back and forth in these later, picks, and they're sitting there at the 109, and if Nick Chubb is sitting there, is it okay to take him? Yeah, it's okay to take him there. I just wouldn't take him at 102 or 103.
All right, we talked a little bit earlier about the recent trades, so let's go, and we've seen some people take this pretty extreme. So solid foundation or tear it down. Sony Michel over Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I'm going to tear that down. I mean, I think that Sony Michel could have some good looks. There were some obvious running back by committee moments with the Rams last season. I don't think that's going to be necessarily that different. I don't think that Darrell Henderson is, number one, the guy going to have all the crazy volume. I don't think that. But he's already mixed into the system. He is succinct in there. He has his role. He is a good pass catching back as well. I think that Michel's going to have maybe a few vultured moments, but overall he is just a good depth move on a team that lost Cam Akers when they weren't planning on it, and Cam Akers was supposed to have a heavy role, so I think he is just a very solid insurance policy for them.
All right, well, there we go. That's tonight's game. Samantha, thank you very much. We appreciate you indulging us, and thank you so much for coming in here again. I'm totally hiring you to do some work on the house here. All right, because I can't deal with this anymore. Like I just, unless your rates are like completely out of whack.
It's just so expensive. You gotta pay to fly me out there.
You get what you pay for. Howard. Get what you pay for.
Absolutely.
Take one last chance to tell everybody where they can find you, especially in the upcoming season with your new gig and everything, and your podcast and all.
Absolutely. Again, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Any opportunity to have a platform and talk to you lovely gentlemen is always appreciated for me. But you guys can find me on Twitter at Samantha R. Holt, on Instagram at Sam_awesome, and all of my content plus all the amazing analysts that I have joined over at Dr. Roto at drroto.com. We have draft kits that you guys can pick up, subscribe. There's amazing articles. Our guys that do the DFS are ridiculously talented. Every time I see, their stats at the end and the money they're raking in, it just makes me second guess everything that I'm doing in a career. How am I doing a career when I could be making what they're making off of DFS? It's ridiculous. So definitely check out drroto.com for the fantasy debate with Sam and Tate. We've moved the show over there too, so that's really exciting. And we're available to listen to on Spotify and anywhere you guys get your podcasts.
All right. Great stuff. Thank you so much, Sam. Really appreciate you dropping by. And I will see you on the social media circles, and we'll try and get everybody else to be as nice as we all have been to each other tonight. How about that?
I like that.
All right. Definitely. Good luck to your Steelers, by the way. I really do.
Thank you.
I genuinely do. Actually, I mean that. I really do.
We need all the luck we can get in the division that, to me, is probably one of the toughest.
Oh, yeah. Browns are winning that division easily. I'm sorry.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, stop.
Overrated.
Come on.
I'll take the wild card. I'll take the wild card where I can get it. It's fine.
There you go.
Beckham's getting hurt. Mayfield's going to implode.
Oh, whoa. All right. See, this is why we don't let you drink on camera anymore, Ryan. These crazy takes. True. Ladies and gentlemen, Samantha Holt. Give her a follow on Twitter, and go check her out over at drroto.com and listen to the podcast. You will not be disappointed. Thank you again, Sam. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Well, that sound right there. Last call. And you know what? I mean, Ryan, usually I go on like some sort of a rant here. I don't really have much of a rant here because I don't want to sound like the boomer who's, yelling at social media and stuff like that. But, we've had some amazing guests here on this show. And I'm talking about Samantha Holt. I'm talking about Samantha Praviti. Jen Piacenti has been here. We had Faith. Faith Enos was here, a couple weeks ago. I'll just say this. it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female giving you the fantasy analysis, as long as you're getting the analysis, answering questions, they're doing research, they're busting their chops to try and make sure that they get everything done for you guys. Women in this industry do have to work 10 times harder than men do. All right? So understand that before you turn around and be an asshole on Twitter or, shoot your mouth off on writing into a podcast or anything like that. It's something that, I shouldn't have to tell you to be a better human and just in general be nice. But I mean, especially this is really turning into a problem. Like, and it's really, for me, that's what bums me out the most. So stop being an asshole. That's my final rant on that. Stop being an asshole. There's no need for it. Right? Ryan, you want to add to it?
I mean, absolutely. You couldn't have said it too much better than don't be an asshole. I just, people get, these muscles behind a keyboard, just think they're going to say some nasty shit and just, you don't really understand how it affects people. And we don't really have to deal with it all that much. I mean, yeah, some people take shots as here and there and call you an idiot or whatever. But I mean, no one attacks your looks, or no one calls you fat, or no.
Oh no! Everybody calls me fat. Everybody calls me fat. They tell me I look like Artie Lang. Like, they're mean. Like, they're definitely mean people out there. And that's like that. That to me, it's just that's the stupidity of it. Like. Yeah. What, you're coming at me for my looks? Why? Because
makes you feel better about yourself. It's just really stupid. It's got to stop. It's not stopping, but it has to stop. We were talking in between with Sam, and just the fact what these women have to put up with to just do half of what we do is really unfortunate. I really hope that at some point we can be better as people, because like you said, I mean, and look at our some of our best guests have been the women who've been on the show. They're all fantastic. Sam was great tonight. They've all been really good. And like you said, they work 10 times harder than we do and deal with all the, oh, can I say this or can I not say that? If they say something back, oh, they're just a bitch. So they just deal with a lot of stuff that isn't necessary. So a special cheers to all the women of fantasy football tonight, as we support you and keep at it, because you know what? They are smarter than us.
Just don't be an asshole. I'm going to leave it on that. There's no reason to do it. It takes nothing to be nice. It takes nothing to be nice. So that's going to do it for us here at Getting Buzzed. Want to thank our producer, John and Pemba, tonight for all the magical work there. And then, Ryan, as always, baby, a pleasure. We will be back for week 1 of the NFL season. I got to take a vacation first. Sorry. I got to go away. I got to recharge, get ready, get my mind right so that, we can crush it this season over at Fantasy Alarm. So that's going to do it for us here tonight. For Ryan Hallam, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.